in the end, I weighed up all the pros and cons, and I finally decided to go on to... Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the delay in videos, just been crazy busy recently, but in today's video I wanted to dive into my recent decision because I've recently decided what drug modifying therapy I'm going to go on to treat my multiple sclerosis. Really difficult decision between all the options, but having had conversations with my neurologist and my MS nurse and researching it loads, I've finally come to a decision, and I want to share that with you guys to help any of you out who are struggling yourselves with what therapy to go on, because there's pros and cons to all of them. And so I wanted to just talk you through my thought process and my overall decision. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos about my journey with MS. But let's dive into the video.
I used to like seeing you in town. Now it's strange when you're not around. I used to like seeing you in town. Now it's strange when you're not around.
So let's start off then with the options that I was given. So my neurologist sent me a letter. So this has been a year in the making. So I've been waiting and waiting for this decision to hear of what therapies I can go on. And I finally got the letter come through to say that I could go on either Tysabri, Ocrevus, Kesimpta or Mavenclad. Those were my four options. Initially, straight away, I didn't want to go on the fourth, Mavenclad, because that isn't one of the harder hitting ones. So I wanted to go on one of the harder hitting treatments straight away, because from all the research I've done, that's the best way to treat the disease, is to hit it hard early on in the stages of the process. So that definitely ruled that one out straight away for me. So I won't go into that one too much because I didn't do too much research into it, because in my opinion it was straight out the books, because I really want to hit this disease as hard as possible, as early as possible. So out of the other three options, Tysabri is considered the most effective out of all those therapies. And so for that reason it was obviously top of my list. But with Tysabri, you do get an increased risk of developing PML, which is quite a scary sounding, I can't pronounce the full name of it, but it's a brain infection that essentially it gives you, if you get it, then you've got a high chance of dying from it. And so that really scared me and put me off, even though they test you for the JCV virus, because if you're negative for the JCV virus, which is just a common virus that quite a lot of people have got and are infected with, but if you're negative for that, then there's a really low risk of you developing PML. Now, I was JCV virus negative, so that did mean that I had an incredibly low risk, but at the same time, there was still that risk of developing PML, which to me, just I couldn't quite balance that out in my head, because it just sounded so big and so scary. But then on the other hand, it's the most effective treatment. So it was a really tough decision. But with Tysabri as well, you do get the monthly infusion, as I say there, every month. So that would mean me going to the hospital once every month. So that was definitely top of the list for me. And then alongside that, the second option, Ocrevus. So this is a once every 6 month infusion, similar to Tysabri, but with this, there's not the increased risk of PML. So that big scary thought goes kind of out the window, but it's generally considered almost as effective as Tysabri, but not quite as effective. So it's just behind there, but obviously there's less of a risk. And also you've only got to go to hospital once every 6 months, as opposed to once every month. Now the third option, Kesimpta, works in a very similar way to Ocrevus. It targets the B cells of the immune system, but this is something that you can actually inject yourself at home once every month. And so it's obviously incredibly easy, because you can just inject it yourself at home, if you're not scared of needles, that is, unlike me. It's easy for a lot of people who can just quite happily inject themselves. The results suggest that it's alongside Ocrevus and Tysabri in terms of effectiveness. Probably not quite as effective as Ocrevus, and then not as effective as Tysabri again. So with that one, you really are getting the benefit of the ease of use, because you're not going to have to go into hospital for a day's infusion, so you can just inject yourself at home. So that was the main benefits of potentially going on Kesimpta. So I had to weigh up these three in my mind, so I was thinking it over and over, what do I go for? Part of me was saying go for the hardest hitting, the most effective, no matter what the consequences. So that would obviously be Tysabri. But then the safe side of my mind was thinking go for something more like Ocrevus, because you haven't got that increased risk of PML, and you've also only got to go into the hospital once every 6 months as opposed to once every month for your infusion. So it really was a really difficult decision that was playing on my mind. And to throw in another curveball as well, before I got given these options, I actually wanted to go on Lemtrada, which is a different treatment altogether, which is a 3-day infusion followed by a 5-day infusion a year later, or the other way around. But that essentially completely wipes out your immune system, and then your immune system grows back, and hopefully without the autoimmune issues that it had before, essentially. That one is considered the most effective treatment currently, and so that was the one I wanted to go on, but that wasn't offered to me by my neurologist. He said that they just aren't handing that out right now because of the pandemic and everything, and also they just can't hand it out apparently as a first-line treatment. They can only hand it out if other treatments have failed. So that one went out the window, so I was a bit disappointed that I couldn't get that, and then I was left to decide over these last 3. And in the end, I weighed up all the pros and cons, and I finally decided to go on to Ocrevus as my drug-modifying therapy. Because, like I say, it seems to be almost as effective as Tysabri, and also it's got that added benefit of only going to the hospital once every 6 months as opposed to once every month, which to me I see as a massive benefit because it just won't feel like it's that much a part of my life, hopefully, when I get the disease under control and I'm just going for a once every 6 month infusion. Hopefully, I like to think that I'll kind of be able to forget about it in between, and that'll help to just keep my positive mental attitude and just keep happy and keep moving, and kind of put this disease behind me, hopefully, as I go forward in life. So I think I've gone with the right choice in the end for me, because it seems to have the fewer side effects, and especially not the big scary ones as well. It was a big decision in general to go on a DMT because I'm obviously trying to heal myself and get myself healthy naturally and by using functional medicine and changing my diet and stress levels, etc. But I couldn't turn down the drugs as well because they have proven to be so effective at reducing relapses. And so I felt at this early stage of the disease, where my disease seems to be quite active and seems to be doing quite a bit of damage, that I just want to throw everything at it that I possibly can at these early stages so that I can really halt it in its progress. So there you have it. I'm actually going on Ocrevus. I'm actually having my first infusion in about a week's time now. So it's incredible how quickly it's all come about after months and months and, well, just over a year of waiting to be able to get on something. And now it's all unraveled pretty quickly. I've got blood tests in a couple of days' time just to make sure everything's okay. And then I've got my infusion, which will be a few hours. So I've got a plan for the whole day in hospital where I'll be infusing into my arm, and then for the first infusion you get 1 dose and then you get another dose 2 weeks later. So it's essentially 2 half doses, and then from there onwards you get a full dose every 6 months. So I'll be going through that over the next couple of weeks. I'll make sure that I take some videos and kind of vlog the first treatment definitely for you, just so you can see what it's like and see how I feel off the back of it, because I know it can be quite an invasive treatment and can knock you about a bit. So I'm definitely going to share my experience with you guys so that it hopefully helps you in making any of your decision if you're deciding on what DMT to go on. So thanks for watching the video. Do let me know in the comments below what DMT you've gone on. Has it worked out well for you? Has Ocrevus really helped your disease? Have any of the other disease modifying therapies really helped you? I really want to hear your experience, so that, you know, I'm informed better, and also other people watching the videos are informed from your experience as well. So please do leave a comment below. Once again, if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this about my journey with MS. See you in the next video.
I used to like seeing